The story of HMS Belfast, the Battle of the North Cape and beyond. The HMS Belfast, one of the most renowned ships of the Royal Navy during World War II, earned her place in history due to her remarkable involvement in the Battle of the North Cape and her enduring role in the war. A light cruiser built for versatility and firepower, the Belfast participated in some of the most intense and pivotal naval battles of the war, and her story is one of resilience, heroism, and indomitable spirit. The prelude to the Battle of the North Cape. The Scharnhorst, a German battleship that had been a formidable presence in the Arctic waters, was part of the Kriegsmarine's efforts to disrupt Allied shipping convoys that were supplying the Soviet Union. The Nazis, knowing that the survival of the Soviet Union was crucial for the Allies, wanted to cut off vital supplies to the Eastern Front. The Scharnhorst had been a constant threat to these convoys, making several successful raids on Allied shipping. This, along with the growing pressure on the Allies to strengthen their position in the Arctic and protect their convoys, led to the decision to eliminate the Scharnhorst. The British Navy assembled a task force to hunt down and destroy the German battleship. The task force was commanded by Vice Admiral Sir Bruce Fraser and included some of the finest ships of the Royal Navy. Among them was the HMS Belfast, a ship well versed in the dangers of surface warfare and prepared to take on the Scharnhorst, despite being a smaller and lighter vessel compared to the mighty battleship. The task force and the engagement. On December 25, 1943, the British task force departed from Scotland with the mission of intercepting the Scharnhorst. The weather in the North Sea was bitterly cold and foggy, making navigation extremely difficult. The Allies were on high alert, and the atmosphere was charged with anticipation, knowing that a major confrontation could occur at any time. The HMS Belfast, a modern and well-equipped cruiser, had already earned a distinguished reputation for her service in the Mediterranean and Arctic convoys, but this would be her most significant battle yet. By the early morning of December 26th, the Scharnhorst was located off the coast of Norway. The German battleship, heavily armed and well-armored, was moving southward, attempting to intercept Allied convoys. The weather was far from ideal for combat. Strong winds, snow, and limited visibility all added to the challenges the British forces would face. Despite these adverse conditions, the British ships engaged the Scharnhorst. The task force used the element of surprise, and their well-coordinated attack made it clear they intended to neutralize the German battleship. The battle began with both sides exchanging fire from a distance. HMS Belfast's role in the battle. The HMS Belfast, though classified as a light cruiser, was equipped with heavy guns that could rival those of some larger warships. Her main armament consisted of 12 6-inch guns mounted in 4 turrets, which could fire devastatingly accurate and powerful shells over long distances. These guns would prove vital in the battle to come. The British task force's approach to the Scharnhorst was marked by careful maneuvering and coordinated gunfire. The Belfast's fire was aimed at the Scharnhorst, and the cruiser was directly involved in the exchange of shells. She was able to fire her guns effectively, despite the challenging conditions and the enemy's counterattacks. At times, the HMS Belfast was subjected to intense fire from the German battleship. The Scharnhorst's larger guns targeted the cruiser, and the Belfast's crew faced the harsh reality of war as the ship was hit several times. Explosions rocked the ship, and damage to her hull and superstructure was significant. Despite this, the crew remained calm and resilient, continuing to fire back at the German vessel with unwavering focus. One of the defining features of the Belfast's performance during the battle was her ability to endure damage without losing her fighting capability. She remained operational even after being hit, and her crew worked tirelessly to keep the ship afloat and firing. The turning tide. The sinking of the Scharnhorst. As the battle progressed, the Scharnhorst began to lose her dominance. The German battleship, despite her superior firepower and armor, was gradually outmaneuvered by the British task force. The HMS Duke of York, the flagship of the British force, played a crucial role in the final destruction of the Scharnhorst. With her powerful 14-inch guns, the Duke of York unleashed a devastating broadside that caused critical damage to the German ship. By late afternoon, the Scharnhorst was sinking, her decks ablaze and her once proud silhouette slowly disappearing beneath the waves. The German battleship had been outgunned, outmaneuvered, and overwhelmed. She sank to the bottom of the sea with over 1,900 of her crew, a devastating blow to the Kriegsmarine. Only 36 men survived, rescued from the icy waters of the North Sea. The sinking of the Scharnhorst marked the end of the battle, but the British forces were left with a bittersweet victory. The HMS Belfast, though not destroyed, had been severely damaged during the engagement. Her crew, however, had played a significant role in the defeat of one of the most powerful warships in the world. The aftermath and legacy of the battle. The battle was a pivotal moment in the war. The Battle of the North Cape effectively ended the threat of the Scharnhorst and ensured the continued protection of vital Arctic convoys. The HMS Belfast's contribution to the victory was immeasurable, and her bravery and resilience under fire earned her lasting recognition. In the immediate aftermath, the HMS Belfast returned to port for repairs. Her wounds were serious, but the ship was still afloat and capable of serving. The cruiser had taken numerous hits, but her reinforced design and the skill of her crew allowed her to continue fighting. Beyond the battle, HMS Belfast's continued service. The HMS Belfast was repaired and returned to active duty after the battle. She played a vital role in the Allied war effort, particularly during the D-Day landings in June 1944, where she provided essential fire support to the Allied forces as they stormed the beaches of Normandy. The cruiser also continued to serve in the Far East during the later stages of the war, providing support to Allied forces in the Pacific theater. After the war, the HMS Belfast was eventually decommissioned and became a museum ship. Today, she is docked on the Thames in London, where visitors can explore her decks and learn about her vital role in the Second World War. The ship stands as a symbol of British naval strength, resilience, and bravery in the face of overwhelming odds. Dramatizations and cultural impact. The story of the HMS Belfast has been dramatized in books, documentaries, and films. The Battle of the North Cape, in particular, is a popular subject due to the high stakes and dramatic nature of the engagement. The image of the Belfast, battered but unbroken, symbolized the endurance of the Royal Navy and its unyielding commitment to the Allied cause. The ship's legacy continues to be a source of pride in the United Kingdom, where her story is taught to new generations as an example of courage, teamwork, and resilience in wartime. The HMS Belfast remains a lasting tribute to the sailors who served aboard her and the pivotal role she played in the naval history of World War II. Through her participation in battles like the Battle of the North Cape, the HMS Belfast not only contributed to a decisive Allied victory, but also ensured that the legacy of the British Royal Navy during World War II would be remembered for generations.